Hey guys, it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you a bloom update for the month of March. Today is March 30th and I can't believe it's still really cold outside. So despite us heading into spring right now in New York City, we've had a couple of days this week where it was actually 20 degrees. So it's been much cooler than normal. But thankfully I've got some beautiful blooms to show you. It looks like a lot of my orchids have started waking up and I'm also starting to see some buds. I'm going to be increasing the amount of light that my orchids get, and by that I mean I'm just going to increase it by 1 hour, and then summertime I'll increase it by another hour. So they'll be getting 15 hours of sunlight for the spring and then 16 for the summer, and that should trigger some more blooms on some of my Cattleya species. I'm happy to see that my Phalaenopsis orchids are still in bloom. These will probably fade very soon, but I wanted to quickly show you them. This is my very first orchid ever. It's still alive and I'm always happy to see it bloom. So let's get started with the updates for March. So first up we have the Monnierara Millennium Magic Witchcraft. This bloomed very beautifully for me this time. So this is the third time that this orchid blooms for me. It bloomed twice for me this year and it has not gone dormant yet. As of making this video, the blooms finally faded. They lasted around 3 weeks, but if you remember the last time that this orchid bloomed, it had very wonky flowers. I'm so happy to see that this sorted itself out and now I've got much more beautiful, showier blooms. The bloom count was impressive with 19 different blooms. I hope to see even more blooms and maybe multiple spikes the next time it blooms. As of right now, because it hasn't gone dormant, I stopped giving it water since these blooms are done, and I hope it'll go into a very short dormancy period. There's no new growths right now, but I'd love to repot this, and I'd prefer for that to happen if this goes dormant. Up next we have the Maxillaria Tenufolia. I've had this orchid for 2 years and it's the first time that it blooms for me. I find that it's an easy grower, but it is not an easy bloomer. So what I did to get it to bloom was I gave it really bright light. So I put it right next to my Cattleya orchids and I backed off on fertilizing this winter. It looks like that did the trick. I also have the yellow Yamada version. That one hasn't bloomed for me yet, but I'm really thrilled to see this orchid in bloom. It's got really cute flowers. They do smell like coconut or pina colada. They're very nice, and it's a nice one. It's a species orchid and I recommend it if you want something a little bit different. Next up, we have the Phalaenopsis Tetraspis C1. This is a species orchid and it's the first time that it blooms for me. What's so beautiful about this orchid is that every single bloom is different. So the spotting on some of the petals is very different from the others. So there's a couple of flowers that ended up blooming that were completely white and some that were completely red. You could see an alba one right there. The second spike had a couple more blooms that opened up for me, but I'll say that it was very short-lived. So I think it's because it's the first time it blooms, and normally over time these do tend to improve on not only their blooms but their actual duration. So we'll see when it blooms over the summer to see how we can compare, but this is a really cute one. Fragrance is like a mix between citrus and burnt plastic. It's not as bad as my Phalaenopsis amboinensis, which smells like rubber or burnt plastic. The edge is sort of off because of that citrus fragrance, but overall this is a really nice one. Up next, we have the Aliceara Big Shot Hilo Sparkle. This is a really pretty one for an Oncidium. This one has really big, fragrant flowers. They also smell kind of like citrus. I'll say that this time it was very subtle, but we have a second spike coming in, which I look forward to seeing in the next couple of weeks. This is a very easy grower. They really like their moisture, so it's in a semi-hydro setup and it is doing well. We've got another Aliceara orchid up next. I wonder if it's Aliceara, sort of like Bellina, which this was named from, or Aliceara, but I'm probably saying it wrong. Otherwise, this orchid is a little bit tougher to grow. It's got a lot of leaf spotting. It doesn't look as vigorous, but it's blooming again. So this is the second time that this orchid blooms for me. I got it as a seedling over a year ago, so I was shocked to see it bloom so young. It's got very pretty, beautiful leopard print kind of flowers with a very nice pink color, and it smells like black pepper. If you can sort of see the leaves, you can see that it's got some spotting. I have cut some leaves off, but it keeps coming back. I don't know what's up with this orchid, but I don't like that. So we'll see how it develops. Up next, we have an easy growing Latoria Dendrobium type. This one is the Dendrobium mini Snowflake. It's the first time that this orchid blooms for me. It took a while for those buds to open up, but I'll say that the bright side with Latoria types is that they may take a while to open up, but they last really, really long. So these blooms, I expect them to last for a couple of months. They're kind of like Phalaenopsis orchids, like the complex hybrid types. So if you don't have any of these in your collection, if you're growing indoors, I highly recommend them just because they're pretty easy to grow and you get blooms that last a really long time. This one has a slight, subtle fragrance. It sort of smells like clean sheets. It smells like sort of like a Tide spring fragrance. So a little bit different, but really, really nice, very pleasant. And this one doesn't get very big, so definitely give it a try. Let me know down in the comments if you like these kinds of orchids. The blooms can be a little bit repetitive, but this one does look different than the other Latoria types. I got this beauty from Carter & Holmes last year, exactly 1 year ago, and they told me it would be 1 year from blooming. 1 year later, and here we are. So this beauty is Paphiopedilum Pinocchio. It's got a very, very beautiful flower, and I don't have too many paphs, but I do like them. It kind of looks like it shimmers from the side, and it's a sequential bloomer, so although it blooms, it's got 2 buds in the way. Now I didn't stake this orchid in time, so it's hanging down, which I don't mind, but it's gonna have additional blooms coming soon when this bloom falls off. When you kind of look at it from the front, it looks like it shimmers. It's just got really, really nice colors, and the petals on the outside are twisted and very beautiful. This is a common hybrid, so you can find it pretty easily, and it's really cute. This next one is really interesting. This was gifted to me by my mom, and this one is the Phalaenopsis Equestris 996. This is a Peloric version with 3 lips. I don't have any Phalaenopsis orchids like it, and it's very different and very pretty. The blooms do tend to last a while, and just like the Equestris, it's got a lot of flowers, so I can't wait to see how it does over time. This next beauty is an unregistered hybrid of the Phalaenopsis Summer Dance Queen crossed with the Mituo Bellina. This was gifted to me by my friend Nick, and I just love it. The colors are just beautiful. They're like peachy with yellow on the edges. And the best part of this orchid is the fragrance. So it's the kind of orchid that sort of fills the room. So when you walk in, it's really, really nice. Now, I was a little sad when I first got it, when it started pushing out that spike, because I broke one of the buds off. But it is pushing out additional buds, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this one grow. It's got nice big leaves, and I think over time it's gonna give us a really nice show. Up last, we have the Phalaenopsis Sweet Memory. This is a beautiful, beautiful Phalaenopsis orchid. If you guys don't follow the channel Natty's Garden, I highly recommend that you do. She grows these orchids in semi-hydro, and she has 5 of them, and I can understand why. It's got a very beautiful, large bloom, and the best part of it is the fragrance. So I know I keep saying that these orchids smell like citrus, but this one smells kind of like citrus, maybe lemony, with hints of the Violacea parent. So it's sort of like a spicy citrus, and this one also perfumes the entire room. I really love it. I got it as a birthday gift from my mom. She gives me such beautiful summer blooming phals. I really, really like this one, and it's the first time it blooms. It's got 3 blooms, and I can't wait till it continues to grow and gives me even more blooms. But I'm really liking this one. I don't want to repot it, but I gotta get to it soon. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna be away for a week, but I've got some repotting videos in the queue, and then I will make some more content for you guys when I return. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything you'd like to see coming up, but otherwise, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, everyone.